What happens when you multitask? You're replying to an email, scrolling Instagram, and listening to a podcast, all while heating up lunch. Feels productive, right? But here's the twist. Every time you switch tasks, your brain isn't multitasking, it's struggling, and it's costing you more than you think. We like to believe we're good at multitasking, that we can juggle 5 things at once and stay sharp, fast, efficient. But neuroscience tells a very different story, and it's not flattering. In fact, the human brain is terrible at multitasking. What feels like efficiency is actually mental self-sabotage. Let's start with a myth we've all been sold, the idea that multitasking is a skill, a strength. It's on job descriptions, it's praised in schools, it's a badge of honor in our fast-paced world. But here's the scientific truth. Your brain can only focus on one cognitive task at a time. What you call multitasking is actually rapid task switching, and it comes with a heavy cost. Studies from Stanford, MIT, and the University of London have found that people who think they are good at multitasking are actually worse at focusing, remembering, and filtering out irrelevant information. Why? Because every switch, even a split-second glance at your phone, forces your brain to reorient, reload, and refocus. And that takes time and mental energy. Psychologists call this the switching cost, the cognitive penalty your brain pays each time it flips from one task to another. You lose milliseconds, then minutes of sharp thinking. Over the course of a day, those small losses add up to hours of reduced productivity. But it doesn't stop there. Multitasking doesn't just make you less productive, it literally changes how your brain works. MRI scans show that constant task switching reduces activity in the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for decision-making, attention, and self-control. Over time, your brain becomes wired for distraction. Even worse, chronic multitasking raises cortisol levels, your brain's stress hormone. You feel more anxious, more overwhelmed, more mentally fatigued. You might be doing more, but you're enjoying it less, retaining less, and burning out faster. But here's the kicker. Multitasking affects your IQ in the moment. A 2005 University of London study found that multitasking during cognitive tasks can temporarily drop your IQ by 10 points. That's equivalent to missing an entire night of sleep or being legally drunk. Let that sink in. Every time you switch from writing an email to checking a message, your brain takes a hit, not just in focus, but in intelligence. And the scariest part, most people don't even realize it's happening. But here's the real danger. Multitasking feels rewarding. Every ping, notification, and tab switch gives your brain a tiny burst of dopamine, the same chemical linked to pleasure and addiction. It feels good, it feels productive, but it's a trap. Your brain becomes addicted to novelty. Instead of staying deep in one task, it starts craving constant input, new tabs, new messages, new sounds. This isn't productivity, it's digital junk food for your mind. And just like junk food, the long-term cost is high. Less focus, lower memory retention, and mental fatigue. You're always doing, but never finishing. You're always connected, but constantly distracted. You're always busy, but rarely effective. And it gets worse when we bring multitasking into emotional or social situations. Ever tried having a deep conversation while scrolling your phone, or listening to a podcast while texting and walking through traffic? Your brain doesn't just split attention, it drops emotional nuance. You miss facial cues, tone changes, emotional subtext. We're not just losing productivity, we're losing connection. Multitasking is eroding our ability to be present. And that matters because presence is how we form memories. It's how we feel joy. It's how we experience meaning. When your brain is jumping between 4 apps and 3 conversations, it's not really anywhere. That's why many people feel like time is slipping away, because they're never fully in the moment long enough to feel it. So what can you do? Start with monotasking. Choose one task, one window, one conversation, and set a timer, even 10 minutes. No switching, no checking, just deep, focused attention. Then pause, reset, move to the next. It's harder than it sounds because we've trained our brains to crave constant switching. But with time, your focus muscles rebuild. You get faster, sharper, calmer. You'll start to feel something rare in today's world: mental clarity. And the more you train this, the more you'll stand out in work, in relationships, in creativity. Multitasking isn't a superpower. Focus is. We live in a culture that worships speed. Fast food, fast news, fast replies. And in the middle of it all, we've mistaken busyness for value. But let's be clear. Doing 5 things at once doesn't make you more capable. It makes you scattered. And scattered minds, build scattered lives. When you multitask all day, your brain never gets a chance to go deep, to create, to solve, to feel. You might check more boxes, but you miss the big picture. You're not really living, you're just reacting. The truth? We weren't built to process endless inputs from 10 directions. We were built to focus, to lose ourselves in a single task, to immerse in a moment, to feel the richness of doing one thing well. That's where flow happens. That's where excellence is born. So the next time you're tempted to juggle tabs, to skim while replying, to scroll during conversation, pause. Ask yourself, what deserves my full attention right now? Because attention is the currency of your life. Where you spend it shapes who you become. Multitasking isn't making you more productive. It's robbing you of depth, clarity, and connection. Imagine what your life would feel like if you were fully there for it. For each conversation, each idea, each moment that actually matters. That's not just better productivity, that's a better life. Now, I want to hear from you. How often do you find yourself multitasking, and what helps you break the habit? Let's talk in the comments, because breaking free starts with awareness and a choice to reclaim your attention.